Tehreek-e-Insaf movement for justice was if the judiciary was independent. Why do we need an independent justice system? Because what has happened in Pakistan is that anyone who comes into power, because the judiciary acts as a B team of the government, they can come into power and plunder the country, abuse power, without any fear of being put in behind bars by an independent justice system. So the abuse of power takes place because there's no independent justice system. That's why we were the first party that said you cannot have reform in Pakistan until you have an independent justice system, which now, thank God, because of the lawyers' movement, because Chief Justice Iftikhar taking a stand, there is a movement in Pakistan now for independence of justice system. Now what we have seen, the political class in Pakistan, when they are in opposition, they all want independent justice system.
True.
When they come into power, the first thing they kill is any hope of an independent judiciary. So the same subservient judges that had given Musharraf the right to amend the constitution. Imagine how you can even call these crooks as judges who can give one man the power to amend the constitution, a power they did not have anyway in the first place. And these are now the same judges that are being patronized by Asif Zardari because he too cannot afford an independent justice system simply because of the number of corruption cases against him. So crooks cannot afford an independent justice system. So what he's doing is, he is sabotaging the movement for independent justice system. He has replaced, he has made sure that the Chief Justice is not reinstated, and he's very happy with Justice Jogar, because Jogar, if he can serve Musharraf, he will also serve him.
Exactly. Well, the next question is about Pakistan's government is Asif Zardari. Asif Zardari his approval rating is about 13%, and you know, I was watching SBS. I'd like to quote that one. They could not find a person who likes Asif Zardari in Pakistan, but he happens to be a president of Pakistan. I mean, when we can expect a change? And one more question I would like to ask you is that what in Pakistani politics has been seen that there's no shadow ministry, there's no shadow government, and there's no the opposition is sitting aside. When what it looks like now is that you're the only person who is actually raising all issues and going on TV and looking like an opposition. What we see is that in the future you will be either opposition leader or in government, and would it be your setup would be ready to go in a government and start working straight away rather than taking 8 months to just choose the ministries?
Well, first of all, Asif Zardari has hijacked the Pakistan's People's Party through a piece of paper which he says is Benazir's will. I would have first of all demanded that that will should be produced in front of the people of Pakistan so that they could verify whether it is authentic or not. In any case, even if it is authentic will, how can a democratic political party be will to some person? It's even in monarchy this is not possible. But in a dictatorship which came to counter monarchy, how can this be possible? So that's my number one point. Number two, he, through becoming head of People's Party, he's hijacked Pakistan. Because if there was a direct election for president, Asif Zardari would not even, I do not agree he has 13% vote bank. I don't even think he has 0.1% of vote bank. Simply because there's a consensus in Pakistan that Asif Zardari is a crook. He has 4 murder cases against him. He has 3 different governments have accused him of stealing over $1.5 billion from Pakistan. How can a man like him become the president? And this is the betrayal of the political class. The same political class that has elected Asif Zardari is the same class that does not want Chief Justice Iftikhar to become the Chief Justice, although he still remains the constitutional Chief Justice of Pakistan. But the political class doesn't want them for their self-interest. They have betrayed Pakistan. And when you talk about Tehreek-e-Insaf, Tehreek-e-Insaf not only has a clear manifesto of how to make Pakistan Jinnah's Pakistan, but Tehreek-e-Insaf also has the people. It's another matter that people haven't heard of some of the main party office bearers, because they are new. We have introduced new people into politics simply because the old political class is part of the status quo, and as I just said before, they have betrayed Pakistan, and it is reflected in them not allowing the Chief Justice to come back and making Zardari a president. Now Tehreek-e-Insaf's, in my opinion, greatest achievement is that we brought new people into politics, and it's new people who will bring about a change.
That's fantastic. Now I want to move on towards now the Karachi MQM. Now the MQM is the biggest party there, and they hold seats, and every government comes, they ally with them as well. Is Tehreek-e-Insaf going to be a successful party in Karachi as well?
Inshallah, we will give our best shot to get all the communities of Karachi together. Karachi is the heart of Pakistan. If Karachi does well, Pakistan does well. Karachi is mini Pakistan because all nationalities live in Karachi. Karachi has been hijacked by Altaf Hussain. Altaf Hussain, I don't doubt for 1 minute that MQM does not have a big vote bank. I think MQM started off as a very, very popular party. But MQM has evolved into a fascist organization. They kill people to stay in power. They have no manifesto. They are willing to work with a military dictator. They are willing to work with Asif Zardari, who they accused, his party they accused of killing MQM under General Nasirullah Babar. All they want is power like anyone else. Like some of the religious people use, religious parties, they use Islam to come into power. Similarly, MQM is playing the Muhajir card to come into power, but not serving the people, the Muhajirs. And thirdly, my problem with Altaf Hussain and MQM is that why should, if Altaf Hussain has killed people and if he is found guilty, why should he be above law?
Exactly.
If MQM is a democratic party, it should accept that if anyone in their party breaks the law, they should be behind bars. How can you have sacred cows? And there are so many, 234 cases against Altaf Hussain. And the Canadian Supreme Court has declared MQM a terrorist organization. So how do they explain that? And so therefore while I grant that MQM is a popular party in Karachi and has a vote bank, but that does not give them, their leadership, the right to assassinate people. That does not give them the right to intimidate people, have people bumped off, to extort money from people. And all this money from Karachi, which goes to maintain Altaf's lifestyle in London, where he has a 40-man secretariat. All money going from Pakistan to make him live in a lavish lifestyle. And he's so scared to come back to Pakistan because he's scared that all these people he's killed will come to get revenge. So he's for 16 years living in London, supposedly the leader of Muhajirs.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about the constitution change. There's 58(2)(b) and 17th Amendments. People's Party, when they were not in power, they were a staunch critic of that policy and the constitution amendments, and since they came into the power, they don't want to change it. Now we have a very corrupt person sitting in Pakistan's parliament, not only parliament, in presidency, and they're not even talking about those amendments, and they're not even changing the constitution and leaving it as it is. I mean, how are we supposed to get through that?
Like Musharraf did not want to give up power, like Musharraf brought in the 17th Amendment to grab power, and like Musharraf could not afford an independent justice system and Chief Justice, there is no difference between Asif Zardari and Musharraf. The only thing, the difference is Asif Zardari is supposed to be democratic, yet the same situation prevails as prevailed under Musharraf. There is a president who has absolute power. Asif Zardari has absolute power, whereas it is a parliamentary democracy where the Prime Minister is supposed to be the Chief Executive, according to the Constitution.
Parliamentary, yes.
And here is Asif Zardari, who has made the Prime Minister puppet. Yusuf Raza Gilani is as much of a puppet as Shaukat Aziz was. The assembly is as much of a dummy assembly as it was under Musharraf. The judiciary is as subservient, as enslaved as under Musharraf. In fact, they're the same judges. So there is no difference. Pakistanis went to vote, but they voted for a revolution, but what they have is more of the same.